Welcome back to the next episode of Board Talk. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be surprised. You might think to yourself, holy shit, Phil, you actually turned into your Bored Ape. And as a matter of fact, with this amazing tech from FILT3R, I actually am my ape for this episode, along with my friend Kimo, the founder of Creativity and team member of FILT3R. How are you, Kimo, this fine evening?
What's up, Phil? It's great. It's up late, hanging out with my boy. That's what I like.
That's the thing, just chopping it up. It feels like, literally, it feels like when we first met. And so the funny story here is Phil and Kimo completely randomly, met each other in the flesh during the second Apefest, just trying to get some fucking grub before the parties later that night. We did not know each other beforehand at all. I had no clue who him and his wife and friend were with him as well, and I had my friend Squirtle. We ran into each other and said, "Hey, oh my God, you're wearing fucking Mutant Ape or Bored Ape shirt. Let's sit together." And literally, that's how this relationship started, which is so hilarious because I guess that's a normal relationship where you meet somebody in the flesh, but typically in Web3, you make these relationships before you ever see somebody in the flesh. So, for Kimo, man, that feels like a lifetime ago. And so what I would just say is I remember you talking about FILT3R and the amazing things that they were doing way back then. So can you kind of tell us, from there to now, what has been the experience of building FILT3R and kind of all of the different relationships and things that you have cooking with the FILT3R team?
Absolutely. I remember you flashed your PO-op to me. You're like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
I didn't even have mine. I was like, oh, yeah. And it's weird because I was still super new to Web3. So like I had that wallet on one phone, but then I had my regular phone. So I was just like, oh, I don't want to bring it with me. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'll just leave it there. But it had all my pictures and all my, my Kimo stuff on it. And I was like, dang it. So, I blew that. But right back then, I had actually begged Mark. I said, I'm going to Apefest. I'm like, let me use your ape, please. And he was like, oh, it's not ready yet. I don't know. And then I begged him and he's like, okay. And he sent it. And that's when I showed you at right before there was no place open and you had your suitcase. You were just rolling up and I saw the skull on the black shirt or blue shirt, the black shirt you had. And I was like, hey, you guys. And you're like, let's just eat together. Boom. And it was great. It was right on the water right there. The Brooklyn Bridge was in the background. I mean, it was like a movie. And that was like my first, hey, let's go see what this place is about. And so it was really cool. And we've come so far with FILT3R. Like now we have our own proprietary application. So like what we're viewing on now. So if I had multiple apes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I can scroll through them and choose them.
That is definitely it's hilarious to think about that first conversation, meeting each other, you showing me this fucking crazy AR filter. And now again, like months later, a year later,
yeah.
My God, it really has been a year. We're sitting here having a conversation. And what's wonderful about that is the community that you're building within FILT3R. And obviously, at least in my opinion, you have a massive hand in all of that because of your positivity, because of your post, because of your ability to kind of pull creativity out of people. And so I guess my next question is how fun / I know it's work, but how fun is it to see people kind of get into their element when they put on this AR filter and maybe turn into something that they didn't even know they could be on the internet?
It's crazy. It's amazing. I'm honored. First of all, I think I'm at like number 34 where I've, actually set them up with the filter and then had them so they could go on Zoom calls and stuff like that. So I've met a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people. And sometimes it's hard because like we were talking about before, people aren't used to being on camera.
Yeah.
They don't know how to be in front of the stage. You know what I mean? And how to act and how to move and stuff like that. So it was difficult, but a lot of them, they really wanted it. And I think we got really good ambassadors that have really done well for us by putting on a filter like you are and stepping out. What excites me is that when I actually see it happen, like when you posted that one, when you finally dropped the bomb, that song that kills all songs, like that song, what was the name of that song?
Sure Thing by Miguel.
Sure Thing by Miguel. Okay, so you guys go ahead and check his timeline and go check it out. But that song, I had no idea what that song ever was. I never heard the original. I heard him sing it, and I was like, "That's the most beautiful song in the world." And I just kept playing it over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh well, let me see what this original sounds like." And I played it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is horrible! This is horrible! I can't even listen to this anymore." So I only have the Phil version. I'm waiting for Spotify to come out, so I can play it on repeat and add it to my playlist. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And I think what I've even experienced is being in front of a camera is not something that's new for me. I was in a band and I teach music, teach theater, but I think putting on an AR filter is a different experience as well, because it gives you an ability to be something or someone or a different ape than you are without the AR filter. And sometimes that can actually be like, for me, it was a hang up for a second. I was like, well, this is interesting. Like, it's still you though. Like, it's still your personality. And what's really cool, and I've seen this from a lot of our, the ambassadors for Filter, is that they've completely come out of their shell. They're doing all kinds of news updates. They're posting all the time. They got podcasts, videos, etc., using this AR filter. And to me, that's the absolute best case scenario, is that we want more people feeling comfortable in their skin. And then when you think about it, PFPs, why did they start taking off? Minus the price. It's because people could actually be something else. They could rock something else. They could have a personality, and they could, if they chose to do so, become and stay anonymous and be a Bored Ape or be a Sappy Seal. And now being able to actually become that and create a personality with that, and it could be yourself too. It doesn't mean you have to be something completely different. Man, I feel like you're seeing some people now that are just starting to get their feet wet, that, fast forward 6 months to a year, you're going to be seeing them all over the timeline because they're just being consistent with delivering awesome content.
I believe you. And you really like kind of gave me like another like second wind of hope seeing you come out and do your thing. It really helped me like, okay, there's still people out there that really, 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 really want to do this. You know what I mean? And so I would tap into old people and stuff like that and see if they would, just produce something, you know what I mean? Come out of your shell a little bit, you know what I mean? But it is hard and it's luring. Like I don't know. I probably talked to you for like 2 months. I'm like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. Yeah. Hey, when was that next song coming out? Hey, look at this. You know what I mean? And then, and at that point I was like, oh, I don't want to spam him. I respect him. But at the same time, I'm like, I know he has it. Like, he could be so like, I see you like on a stage with the lights in the background, and then we just film it like this, and it's like, what's that song with the mask that the sing?
The Masked Singer.
The Masked Singer, but like, everybody there, it's in a room, whatever, and nobody knows. But that's what I kind of envisioned you as, because your ape is so cool that with the halo just like kind of hovering above there and it being pink, it's like it has everything going for it. You know what I mean? It's stylish, but then it's like, hey, I'm here to party. You know what I mean? With the halo.
And I think we will see that though. Like, I really do believe that entertainment in the metaverse, which by the way, it's coming, and it's coming soon. Like, we're going to be in Other Side here within the next 6 months, and we're going to be creating these things. And you're going to see experiences. You're going to see stand-up comedy. You're going to see concerts. You're going to see you can put on a show, put on a live play or a musical, and people are going to be able to use AR filters. And I think it takes it to the next level. And so, like, again, I know what I've seen with filters, and your guys is the best, hands down. It's honestly not even close. And so, like, to me, I like how realistic it is, right? As I want it to look real. I don't want it to look like a cartoon, because then it actually does feel like I'm just wearing this mask rather than, I don't know, like I'm turning into a cartoon. It's different. I don't know even know how to explain it, but it's definitely a different thing for me. And man, the person I'm thinking of the most, FFV. That cat is like just like straight up like dove in head first and has created an amazing and iconic character and personality with his AR filter. And dude, it's like, and he talked about it. It's given him more confidence. It's allowed him to get in front of a camera and not be so worried about, you know, what he looks like that day. Is his hair brushed? You know, use mouthwash, whatever. It's like you're gonna have people like that too, because there are folks that are uber talented or have a lot of great things to say that simply don't want to be in front of a camera because they don't feel good about their looks, or they, you know, they think poorly of something about their physical style or whatever it is. And this again gives them an opportunity to, you know, shine. Like I think that maybe corny as hell, but I think it's wonderful, to be honest.
Absolutely. FFVV is like one of the hardest working guys that I know in this space. From the beginning, his shit was hard to connect. Like he has a Mac, so it's like 5 reboots you have to do, because like with Mac, once you put the application in, you got to reboot, then you make a settings change, reboot, and it was just like that. So it was really, and he was in the beginning time, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was really, and he kept fighting. We took like a month off, and then he came back and he's like, all right, I'm ready to do it again. And then now look at him.
Yeah.
He's like, did the job, and he's like, I'm going Web3, and you can see by his interactions, he's in every time somebody message, you can see it. So if I look on his and I see 150, I know 75 are him. This guy's working his ass off, dude, and he's replying to people, and he's like, oh yeah, what's up with that? Nothing. You know what I mean? And it's just like he's even putting in that work, which is like the cream on the crop.
Yeah, for sure. No, and it's very super easily to see. He's all over the place. He obviously had already grown an amazing, you know, following because he had great things to say via text. And I think the filters just take it to another level. So, man, let's take it back a little bit further for Kimo. So tell me a little bit about you and your, I don't know, you're stepping into the crypto sphere as well as NFTs.
So I've been in since Bitcoin was 20,000 the first time, like January. That's how I kind of have to guess my timeline. And so I've been in a while. I used to mine for Ethereum, ETC. I got experience with that, but the NFTs and the wallets and all that stuff, that was pretty crazy to me. And having to hold an NFT in a wallet, and then like the guy who is like, I guess my NFT guru here in real life, who kind of like showed me the ropes in here. He's like, yeah, oh no, just write it down. Don't even take a screenshot of it. Don't put it in your notes. Somebody will hack it in. And I'm like, well, what if I print it out? He goes, oh, but it could be in the air, and then they could get it. And I'm like, wow, like, you know, like, is everybody out for these things? Like, is this something I should be getting into?
Right.
So I had to come up with an identity. And the first thing, like, for me was like, okay, who is this thing I just bought, right? It's just a picture right now. And I couldn't figure it out, really. And so I named it after an old friend of mine who's not around anymore. His name's Kimo. And I thought, okay, well, I always liked him. And I was like, I'll just pretend I'm him, kind of, you know what I mean? And we were kind of alike, but he had some things different, but who's counting, right? So I started 0 followers, nothing, right? Just started liking and started GMing, and I couldn't understand GMing, and I was just like, okay, but I'm just going to keep doing this because like, that's what everybody's doing. And then when you do it, you get connections. And then, you know, actually being it with you, like, seeing you in real life and then connecting with you, I got to see like who you followed, and I was like, oh, what's he doing? And oh, what's this board TV? And then, oh man, he knows a lot about, you know, how all these things work, and I should start listening to him and the people he's listening to. So you were like a really good branch for Kimo, you know, the digital identity, to kind of get into the NFT space. And then, you know, I was like, okay, well, what do I want to do? Well, what did Kimo like? Kimo liked to rap. So I started rapping. I started writing bars and recording some things down. before I even had this filter. But I was like,
Right.
okay, I'm doing all this. I tried to put it on a can. I'll give a little shout out to my boys over here. Okay.
Yeah.
I tried to do all that. I got this guy in India tried to help me, and it was just like, and I was like, what can I do? And I was like, oh, what about a filter? I'm like, oh, and I saw that I guess it was like a Instagram filter or Snapchat filter, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'll just build one myself. And funny or not, the first thing I wanted to do was make Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
That's literally what I was like, oh, I want to sculpt it like that. So I gave the guy, so I had to have this artist build this. And then once I had the art, I could go to this other guy who could actually put it on.
Right.
But he could only put it on the Snapchat and then not Instagram. And the art didn't look like shit. And then Mark came on with his red and his eyes, and he was like, oh, and I was like, oh shit. That's it right there. And I DM'd him, and I was like, oh dude, whatever it is that I will do whatever it takes. That is what I want. Cause I could be that. I'm animated pretty much, you know, but in my real life, like, I mean, I used to be animated, but I mean, I don't have many things going on. It's more business now, you know, we're older and stuff like that. So I get to kind of step back to the 90s in this, you know what I mean? I get to kind of go back and play video games and kind of be this is like the new video game. This is the new interface, you know, that we're going to like transition to until we get our 3D ape in the metaverse, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's just going to be a perfect marriage there too. Like you said, the AR filter and the 3D asset, like those are going to be, you can use them in such different ways, and they're going to be, in my opinion, vital to building this like persona.
Yeah, because nobody's going to want to be doxxed and be associated with this. And that's why people have actually bought these things and are still buying these things. You know, they're waiting for the floor. They're scooping them up at 39. Yeah. I can't believe what's his name? The guy on TV, Fallon.
Oh yeah,
he floored his ape, I guess. It was on the timeline today, and I was like, at 38, and it's like, yeah, but he's in lawsuits and all kinds of shit. So
he's like, I'm out of here.
Who cares, right? Like, I got Jimmy Fallon's, you know. And I was like, whatever, dude. Just make your own, you know, be your own person, though. You know what I mean? And this, I think, gives us a chance to like brand something. Like, I felt like most of my life, I needed something to brand, you know, and I've tried multiple different things and stuff like that. And then when I saw this, I was like, okay, there's like a brand available for you to brand. Yeah. Like it has some sort of base behind it. I'm like, oh, that's a really smart thing to do. You know what I mean? So that's where I started, and here's where it ended. I got a couple songs coming out that we'll have during Mint Week, couple weeks out. Finishing the tech.
Yeah. There's always something on the tech. I don't care what you're building. There's always something on the tech side.
And you don't know it until you're there, right? Correct. And then you're just like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. And then you're like, wait, that didn't happen? Like, yeah. What?
that is exactly how these things work. 100%. That's why I stay away from building anything tech wise. I like tech, but let somebody else build it and I'll fucking use it.
100.
Yeah. And, you just talked about kind of IP use and like building a brand. And I think that's also another wonderful thing that Bored Ape and Yuga Labs has done is they said, hey, listen, now again, this feels like 78 years ago, but when they came out in the early 2021, the end of April, it was, hey, we're going to give you the IP rights. Go build some shit. Go put it on Ape water cans. Go fucking open a burger joint. Go make some filters. Go create a brand. Go create your persona. And like Godspeed. Exactly. Shout out to Ape Water. Like there's so many people doing so many cool things. And I think actually we're just getting started because it's still, again, people get caught up in, of course, like the floor, but it's like, dude, we've literally been doing this for 2 years. That's nothing. That is no time whatsoever. Can we sit down for a second, grab an Ape Water, nice cold water, drink the Ape Water, just water. That's fine. Mm-hmm. And realize that there's going to be so many more opportunities and things coming here over the next few weeks, next few months, and the next few years. Like that's my honest to goodness. That's my belief. because I see the community. I see the mainstays, the OGs, and the new folks that have come in and have made such a positive impact, and they're not going anywhere. The price action means nothing. It legitimately means nothing. Like for me, I'm not selling my ape. I don't care what the floor is. Like I legitimately do not care because of the connections I've made. And of course, like I've had some nice wins from apes as well, and they've rewarded me handsomely. Do you think they're really just going to stop that? Come on. Like, okay, maybe it's not you getting airdropped magic internet money every year, but it's going to be stuff. There's going to be Apefest. There's going to be the in real life clubhouse. There's going to be things happening all the time. And I think when I think about IP and the things that we're going to be building with FILT3R, with other products, like, man, the sky's the limit. And honestly, just getting started.
Right. How would you think about like, and I throw this out to a couple guys, like renting out your ape.
Oh yeah.
Like, would you and would you have to know the person, or would you care, or like what would you think?
That is really interesting. I think I would want to know how they were going to use it, like at least in what capacity. Like if it was, that's interesting, dude, because like, yeah, I think it's a great idea financially. Like if there was a way to rent out apes for a, you know, you're creating contracts and you can say, hey, you got this for whatever, 3 years, 5 years, a year, 6 months, go ahead and use it. Man, I think I would be open to it. I don't even think I'd need to know the person. I would just need to see their vision. Like you'd have to show me what you're doing, because I'm not about the silly games. Like I'm about like real things, moving real places, brick by brick, and like show me what you're gonna do, and then like let's have a conversation. But I think it's an interesting one, and I would be open for it.
So like if we put like let's say you would be like in a marketplace and your ape's up there, right? And somebody can purchase your ape for like, let's say, and I wouldn't even go as far as that long, because I want to release, let's say, my rights to somebody for the least amount of time for the most money, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I would say like 3 days, 0.1 ETH. You want to make some content, you want to shoot a commercial, something like that, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's anonymous contract. So whoever wants to get the pass and actually do it and go through it all, they gave you the money, they have the time. Now, are you ever going to see that? I mean, how are you going to know? Like you can't really know, right?
I think I would still be open to it though. Like like you're saying, I think it would all depend on length and pay structure, because like, again, you need to be making something from it at the end of the day. Otherwise, like somebody going and just making some like absolutely like tragic content, like I mean like super like out of pocket shit, like that would not be good for a brand if you're really trying to build a brand around whatever ape you have. But I would be open to it for sure. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. And I think you're going to see more and more of that. That's the thing. Like all of these,
I think there could be like a marketplace. Like I know, like, okay, I know we have board jobs, we have this and that or whatever, but I think there's really like a marketplace for personalities, you know what I mean? And I'm working with a couple guy, one's a trader. He's setting up similar kind of what you are, that group. That kind of group, you know what I mean? And then another guy, he's setting up, he has a rock band and his ape's in the rock band, you know what I mean? So like there's all these different like things that are just beginning to come out. And I think it's up to people like us, the pioneers in FILT3R, to be the ones to go, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? This is how you lead the way. You just sit there and you have a conversation with your buddy. Yeah. And it looks different. It feels different. And you think about it, it's like we're wearing Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Like 3D Mickey Mouse. Yeah, this is our Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean? I mean, we're kind of about the same age, but it's like this is like our okay, this is our Mickey Mouse. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I can wear it.
Yeah. I can create my own content. I can create my own brand. Like there's man, it's
and I don't have to be me, and I never have to show my face.
Yeah.
Whoa. And I could even get someone to just like have my voice so I never sound like this again either. And then you literally would definitely not know it was me.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because the little bit that I've started to
Dabble
in TikTok. My spoken voice, I'm using a voice changer on it because I think it's fun. Like, I think it's fun to like. Not that I'm concerned about what people think, to be honest, but like my focus is I'm gonna start singing on there because that's something you and I have talked about because there's nobody really doing that in this capacity, and so why not? And then the little bit of like spoken things that I'll do, and I haven't done a lot because again, it's just getting in the flow. But I'm using a different voice, the voice changer on TikTok because I just think it feels so like it feels really cool. If I'm being honest with you, like I feel like it's a different person. I know it's me. Still my thoughts, but like I picked. I don't even remember what the voice was, but one of them ones on TikTok, and I liked it. And I was like, you know what, this makes sense. He kind of sounds like Rick on like Rick and Morty. It kind of sounds like Rick a little bit, actually. which is funny. Like that's I enjoy that show. I know there's been some controversy around it, but I think the show's pretty funny. But no, man, I agree. I think this is the beginning, and I you know what you just said. We are pioneers as Filter representatives. Obviously, you as part of the team, and then anyone else that wants to get involved or when the sale comes out with Filter. Obviously, like if this is something that interests you, if you're thinking about, man, I love creating content. I love singing, but I'm not comfortable with my face singing. Well, if you got Bored Ape, if you got what's the other collection that you guys have?
It's Mr. Anon.
Oh yeah, Mr. Anon. So like you can have literally a brand new IP PFP that will be your face, and like I think that you're going to see people that are interested in that. And so like again, if you're watching this, if you're hearing this on Spotify, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I love content, but I've never wanted to be in front of a camera, there is a way. And it's through Filter. And obviously I had to bring on the homie Kimo to talk. And so Kimo, as we start wrapping up, I am going to have you give us a little more information about obviously what you guys have cooking. But before that, let's dabble a little bit into the swamp. So obviously we're not talking anything price action. You and I are over that topic. We talked about it before we hit record, and that was enough for me for the day. But when it comes to the swamp, when it comes to Bored Ape and Mutant Ape, and really everything that Yuga has cooking, are you excited about the different, I guess I'll say Yuga gaming things that they have here coming out over the next couple weeks with Heavy Metal and Legends of the Mara? Are you a gamer? And even if you're not, are you still excited to see kind of what those things are?
I am. I have been busy in IRL, so I haven't been up to the latest. I got my drops and I seen what I got. I think I revealed that. But other than that, I haven't been in because I've been like, we're really close to mint at Filter. Right. But I am stoked about how they keep coming and keeping the story going.
Right.
I am because nobody else is doing that either. Nobody has kept an audience. I mean, you could say what you want about the floor price, but nobody has kept the audience, kept people playing. I mean, the sewer pass, Dookie Dash, like the whole thing all the way. I can't. Please just bring back Dookie Dash. If anybody knows anybody at the Bored Ape Yacht Club, just tell them one thing. Can you bring back Dookie Dash? I just want to play my own private. I don't even want to, you know what I mean? I don't care. I know you guys never redo games, which sucks because it was really fun. And what's coming out, like having on the the first trip and then the second trip, that was dope. Like I actually was a part of the winning team, so I got the helmet. I'm stoked about, like, it was the first thing like I ever really got from them, other than like the sewer pass and stuff like that was airdropped, which is it's really been cool, like learning about all that, you know what I mean? That's and I'm stoked that Yuga surpasses everybody else when it brings quality to the NFT group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of haters out there, and I could give a fuck less because this is my IP. I can say whatever I want to. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't even matter to me, whatever. So it's my group, it's my friends. This is who I want to hang out with. Just so happen, they're, pretty expensive PFPs, but other than that, it's no different. And when we see Mr. Anon come out, which that's what I'm really excited about. Yeah. When Mr. Anon hits, and I'm going to tell you and your audience now, we're going to give Mr. Anon for free.
Nice.
Everybody's going to get Mr. Anon. Who signs up, gets on the list, is going to get Mr. Anon. All you got to do is pay for the gas. And that is going to unleash a whole, because we got people sitting in the Discord just like waiting. Like,
Yeah,
where's
yeah.
the one where we can get into? Where's the one that we get into?
Right.
So soon as we mint board filter, it's off to Mr. Anon, and hopefully we just drop that, you know, within a couple weeks or so after that. And then that's when I think we're going to see an explosion. We're going to see explosion everywhere. And people are actually going to have to do a couple things. They're going to have to put it in the camera in front of them, and they have to do something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be weird.
Right.
It's going to be really weird.
Yep. But we're going to normalize weird. That's what we're doing. We're normalizing weird because, again, at the end of the day, I think what people will find is that it opens them up to other opportunities and experiences. And yes, it's only a filter, but it can actually do so much for an individual and a group of people. So I think that's
even like a talk show with you because of your ape, like having that setup in a desk or something like that is kind of what I see is like, that's like ridiculously cool to me because now we have the ability to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude.
I think yes, let's take down. I'm gonna be Jimmy Fallon, just the actual.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, because dude, there's no one else that's doing it right now. I don't know which media group we gotta fit that into.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly right. No, now you got my brain cooking. We're this is what's good about community. You know, we it's cliche and all of that, but at the end of the day, when you actually get together with people that have the same mindset or at least want to push the same things and good vibes and positivity and great content, what happens is you come up with even better ideas. So, man, I just want to say thanks, Kimo. I appreciate you. Again, our story of meeting is wild as hell, but to be honest, isn't that what Web3 is too? Is just a wild ass ride, and you know, Filter has brought us together and really good friendship and honestly a great meal before Apefest is what started it all. And now we're sitting here chopping it up on a freaking Thursday night. And honestly, I would not want to be anywhere else. So Kimo, any last things you want people to know about you or Filter or really just Web3 in general?
Guys, stay tuned. That's all I'm saying. It's going to happen. It's going to be quick. It's going to happen. It's going to sell out. We have an OG 555. So for a Bored Ape, you can get into that. Hopefully, it's kind of late, but 555, that's it. That's all we're selling of it. It's an OG pass. Has tons of utility. You get to have as many apes in your application as you want. Your application is your IP. It's connected to your wallet. Okay. So like when you sell that, if you get rid of that Bored Ape Yacht Club, the filter doesn't work. We take IP seriously at Filter. Yeah.
No, I think that's wonderful. That's the thing. It's just the start. Stay tuned. Let them cook. Let them cook. So again, this was Kimo. This was Phil. This is Board Talk. Until next time, appreciate y'all.